General things like dehydration is a huge one. Obesity would be a risk factor, over grooming, or stress.
After surgery, dogs and cats can be constipated as well. If your dog doesn't poop for like 2 or 3 days, it's okay. Just make sure they have access to water. Can constipation be serious?
Yes, it can.
What causes constipation in dogs? Or cats, I guess. It says dogs, but cats can get constipated too.
It's true. And honestly, I would say that of percentage of patients that I see for constipation, I would say the majority are cats. Yeah, I think that's definitely a truism. At least in my practice, that's what I've found to be the case.
Nice.
There are a number of causes.
Ooh.
Really long list that I've compiled, but I would say generally speaking, we have the intraluminal causes, so within the intestine, within the large intestine, some sort of obstruction going on. Then you have the extraluminal, something going on within the abdomen, but outside of, or not necessarily in the abdomen, but something that's going on outside of the intestine that may be compressing the intestine. And then there may be some sort of intrinsic factor like neuromuscular disease, some sort of nerve disruption, electrolyte abnormality, other general things like dehydration is a huge one. Obesity would be a risk factor.
Right.
Insufficient exercise, and I guess what I'm about to say is more for cats, but over grooming,
hairballs. Yeah,
exactly. Those are some of the main reasons. And when it comes to the intraluminal causes, it's like if a dog ate hair or bones, or cat ate litter, hairballs, that mixing in with the feces, secondary to potentially being dehydrated, or stress, reluctant to defecate because of stress or a dirty litter box for a cat, or pain or a tumor or something, that is going to lead to difficulty of passing feces.
We found that after surgery, dogs and cats can be constipated as well. We always say anesthesia puts everything to sleep, including the GI tract. So we had plenty of dogs that we would send home and say, if your dog doesn't poop for like 2 or 3 days, it's okay. Just make sure they have access to water. And after that 3 days, if they haven't pooped, then you go with the canned pumpkin and the things like that. And then we have owners that are like, he's not pooping. Give him a teaspoon of canned pumpkin. Oh, and 2 hours later, it's like, oh Lord, it all came out. It just, So that's
it's so true.
Wonderful cure.
I mean, anesthesia really does that. I, unfortunately went through, knee surgery and it was on some opioids, and I very quickly forgot about my knee pain for a little bit. But Miralax helps, and all this sort of stuff. But it's true, like it does put the body to sleep, and that's what we need, the peristaltic waves, our intestines kind of pushing the food through. And if there's any disruption in that is going to keep things kind of steady. And so we want some sort of prokinetic movement. That's kind of the goal with treatment.
I'd always tell people, depending on the size of the dog, anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon of canned pumpkin. It's moisture. It's a lot of fiber. They did have clients that would say in the fall they would have a hard time finding it in the store because everybody is making pumpkin pie at that point, especially around Thanksgiving. So it's tough. So grab a can, throw it in the pantry. It's never going to go bad. And even if it goes a little bad, it's still your dog. He's going to eat it. He eats his own poop. It doesn't matter if he's going to eat a little expired canned pumpkin.
I've never run into that, but it makes sense.
I hadn't either. Yeah. 1 year, people are like, I can't find it anywhere. People are making pumpkin pie. I'm like, well, find some pumpkin pie and give it to your dog.
I think we should start doing research on eggnog, and if that could potentially, you know, have some therapeutic effects. And then, if so, you know, you got to store that in your freezer.
Oh yeah, you got to keep it around. You got to have it within an arm's reach in case your dog can't poop. Are there breeds that are more susceptible to constipation than other breeds? Big dogs, little dogs, doesn't matter. You said cats have it more, but
definitely cats have it more. I don't know of any dog breed predispositions. I really think that diet is really the biggest factor, more so than breed. For cats, though, there are like the Manx cat does have a predisposition to like sacral vertebral spina bifida, and that can potentially, you know, lead to increased risk of constipation. So, you know, anytime there's some sort of, you know, vertebral anomaly, or, you know, the aforementioned you know, pelvic fracture, or something that could potentially be narrowing that pelvic inlet where the feces will be traveling through, lymph node enlargement, prostate enlarged, anything that's enlarged that shouldn't be in the abdomen, that's compressing feces from flowing through, that, you know, that could be a big deal. And I think the vertebral issues can, you know, of the Manx cat specifically, is the breed's predisposition that I'm aware of.
Can constipation be serious? Can it be life-threatening?
Yes, it can. I have not seen a life-threatening case of constipation in a dog. I've seen it multiple times in cats. The one thing that we haven't necessarily talked about yet, and I have not heard of a case in a dog, but I'm sure it exists. But in cats, there's something called idiopathic megacolon, and it's just one of those things. Idiopathic. We don't really know what causes this, but that colon is going to be, it's megacolon, so it's this huge thing that it's irreversibly distended and not like non-motile, so it's not going to be allowed having those peristaltic waves.
Think of it as a shirt that you stretch out and it doesn't come back anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It just gets trapped, and, you know, these poor cats, I've had to manually deobfuscate so many of them, and sometimes under general anesthesia, you know, do enemas, have them on Miralax or lactulose, all sorts of, you know, therapeutics. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't always work, and sometimes they need surgery, like something called a subtotal colectomy. I've never done it, but that's something that can be life-threatening. Yeah.
Hey, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and share it with all your animal-loving friends. My name is Mike the Voice Monkey, and we will see you this week with Dr. Max on Ask Our Vet.